Hello, hello, and welcome everybody. JayTee, how's the audio? Can you hear it, brother? All right. Sounds good. I'll just wait till a few people hop on. It's almost 8:30. Hello, hello, and welcome. All right. All right, I guess we could just start, to be honest.
Yes, sir. Let's go.
Let's do it, man. Hello and welcome, everyone. Welcome to Real Talk. This is our third live. Excited for it. I see 4 of you are here. Please put your name in the chat so I know who's here. Yo, what a crazy day, dude. What a crazy day.
What happened today?
The snowstorm was something. You know, I was north beyond Orangeville. So the whole distance was like 78 kilometers, yeah? And the roads
That's crazy.
were slippery. Cars were getting stuck. Dude, I didn't even know if I was going to make it back home, to be honest. Like, I'll be very fair. Yo, Anton, what's up, bro?
How did you get home?
Dude, I had to take 3 Ubers, all right? And not right after each other. I had to walk distances too, so I can be able to order an Uber again and then rinse and repeat, right? I had to do that 3 times. 10:40, after waiting, by the way, for an hour and a half for a ride to come, all right? 10:40 is when the journey started, and I didn't get back home until like 1:42, something like that.
So it took you 3 hours on the road.
Pretty much, brother. Pretty much. And it was super cold. And you know how I layer myself when it's when it's winter.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But it was a fun experience. Snow was intense in Ottawa too. Dude, I can't imagine. And I bet in Montreal it's even worse.
Yo, it's like it's so much. Like it's literally up to it's up to your knee. Like if you step outside, it's literally up to your kney.
Yeah, dude, you know what? This guy, dude, Ranpreet, I think his name. What a clutch. I mean, I kid you not, waiting for an hour and 40 minutes for just any Uber to pick up. No one is in the area. This guy comes out of nowhere from deep north, okay? He comes in. It takes him 20 minutes to cross 2 kilometers just to reach this area. And he commits to it regardless. He calls me, he's like, brother, I'm here. I can't just enter the area, so you're going to have to walk the distance. I walk the distance, I get in, and we move together. Guy was super chill. He's like, yeah, man, every day is a new day, right? It doesn't matter how it is. Work is work. I'm like, I respect. Yeah. Thank you for being here. Legend, you saved me. But what do you mean any day, anytime, work is work? Like sometimes you just got to stay home and be safe. But yeah, stopped at a Tim Hortons, waited another 30 minutes there for another Uber, walked another 10 minutes, found an easier road for people to come by and pick me up. Passed by Yorkdale. Yorkdale was insane. People were actually shopping, dude. The mall was full. It wasn't as empty as you think it was.
Yorkdale doesn't close. No, yeah.
But yeah.
Yorkdale does not close, bro.
Fun experience, though. It felt surreal. Yeah. But here we are now. Danny's going to join us late.
Yo, the snow is actually... Yeah. The snow is actually, bro, it's so bad that, I don't even know. I feel like my Wi-Fi is chopping up.
Yeah. I can see the effects, but we'll try to make do with it.
Yeah,
dude. There's this question on my mind. All right, and it's always been on my mind. I love real topics. All right, I love deep talks. I love getting to the core of things. But then I feel like that's too general. There's not a specific thing that I'm looking at when I say something is real. Okay. So then the question is, what does being real actually mean? And a lot of questions come to my mind that follows that up. But generally, what do you think? I want to know, what do you think?
being real,
Yeah.
like as in, hmm. So I would say like being real, like being a genuine person, right?
Hmm.
So I
Okay.
guess it's just, being like being genuine, being your real self, not putting on any like masks, hiding behind any masks, or being something that you're not meant to be to, fit into a certain like group or whatever.
Hmm.
I mean, these are all things that we've all heard already. Like these are all things that are like, typical. We all know this about being real, right? But then there's another aspect of being real, and it's how much are you willing to like remove from yourself in order to gain stuff.
How much
So
you're
what
willing to
does that
remove
mean?
from yourself?
Yeah. So
Okay.
what I'm talking about is if you look at all these influencers, right? You see like why do we call people sellouts? Why is it looked down upon to be a sellout?
Why is it frowned upon? Why do people look down upon it? Well, because you would do anything just to get people's applause, get people's approval, get their heads shaken.
Yeah.
So it's in a way you're just
Yeah.
attention seeking with no actual benefit.
Yeah.
you're putting your self-esteem on the line.
Mhm. Exactly. So that is heavily connected with being real. So being real, I would consider it being something like there's no amount of money, there's no amount of fame, there's no amount of clout that can be put in front of you that you would accept to put your morals and your standards away for, you know?
Hmm.
That's what I consider being real. So like let's say you have like a certain standard that or a certain opinion that you hold very tightly on. A lot of people will accept a certain amount of money to not talk about it, maybe even to promote the opposite of that, right?
Hmm.
So that's what I would consider like being a real person. That no amount of like things that like no material can make you put your morals away.
Okay. Respect. Well, I do agree with that. And I thought about it before starting this live. And I got down to this one sentence. Okay. Being real isn't about saying whatever's on your mind. All right. It's about
Yeah.
knowing when to speak, when to listen,
Yeah.
and when to be silent and say nothing. Just hear. Right.
Hmm.
Because sometimes silence says everything, it speaks louder than words.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think keeping it real
Yeah.
means
No,
being brutally
100%.
honest all the time. But with wisdom, there's value. But honesty without wisdom is just talk. It doesn't hold much weight. So being real in that sense is a
Yeah.
much deeper, uh, it's a deep thing. So it's about understanding the moment. And sometimes the most real thing you can do is say nothing and let actions prove everything. So that's the core of what being real
Yeah.
is, and that's the sentence or explanation that I got to. What do you think? That's pretty much what you said, just phrased differently.
Well, yeah, I agree. I mean, if you don't know about a certain topic, then there's no reason for you to be speaking about it, right? Like, it's not your role to be like
But then isn't that discouraging though?
preaching
Isn't
things
that
that you're not
discouraging? What if
convinced
someone
of.
actually wants to improve through that? Sorry to cut you off,
No,
but
I would argue it's encouraging.
it's encouraging.
Yeah, because it encourages people to learn more before they can speak.
Hmm.
Because uninformed people who speak with misinformation cause more harm than staying silent,
Hmm.
right? So if you're uninformed about something and you're talking, like you're so confident about it, but then you find out that like after doing some research that like what you were saying, what you've been saying is false this whole time. Imagine how much harder it is to come back from that than to stay silent, learn, do your research, and then talk the truth.
Right, right. Don't make a fool out of yourself. Just build that confidence through
Exactly.
research and then having the proper knowledge before your response. Okay, okay, I like that.
Yeah.
So can you think of a time when keeping it real cost you something? So it wasn't, or not necessarily wasn't worth it. It could have been worth it. It could have been
Mm.
not. So can you think of any moment?
See, that's a good question. Because, like, throughout university, you look at, there's some courses where you take them and it's like very heavily opinionated on one side, right? So it becomes very political
Mm-hmm.
and it gets very left leaning, and they encourage that kind of opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, you kind of have to, in order to do well in that course or whatever, you kind of have, you're forced to have that opinion,
Right.
right? So one time I've kept it quote unquote real is that, like, on an exam or on an assignment, I speak my opinion. I speak with facts. I speak with, like, I write certain things that are true. They might not sound like the best things to say, It might seem like it's, I don't know, rude or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's statistics, it's facts. So I have done research on these things. And it does cost you some grades here and there because it doesn't line up with the agenda that is being pushed, and the things that are encouraged, the opinion that's encouraged.
Mm-hmm. No, I hear
You know
you.
what I mean? Yeah.
Well, I had a similar experience.
That's one example.
Remember the
Yeah.
one time I told you about that course? It was supposed to be a cinema studies course, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's purely like cinema history is vast. All right, I'm not
Right.
complaining about whether you include things I disagree with. It's a vast history, but when you just
Yeah.
simply focus on that one ideology and keep pushing it over and over again, and you forget all the other more significant things because it had a bigger impact,
Yeah.
it's shocking, it's surprising for me, and it's a waste of time because I'm paying for those courses to learn a thing or two, right? And and when you just sell a course on a specific idea, right? You present a course, you market it a certain way, and then I join in and get surprised with an ideology that I didn't sign up for. It's a
Yeah.
shame. It's a shame. It's there's no integrity in what you're doing. I think
Right.
that shouldn't happen in universities, and they should hold their marketing for each course seriously. You can't say something and be doing something else. If it's cinema history and you say it's going to be on the most revolutionary projects, the films that made the most impact in the world, don't go ahead and changing that just to push an ideology. Because those projects, believe me,
Yeah.
that they showed me, they have such it's like such a niche thing. Not a lot of people watch it.
Right.
Not a lot of people see it. So yeah, that was
Right.
disappointing, and that was my experience with it. But then here's the next question: is there a difference between being real and being blunt? So you kept it real, but you were not blunt in that situation. But where is the line? Well, some people can misunderstand our realness, us being authentic and honest, to being blunt, being hurtful, be overstepping boundaries and overstepping lines. Where is that line?
I think there's a place and time to be blunt. Um, it depends on the kind of people you're dealing with. Sometimes you have to be a little bit, more forward and more direct in your speech when you're talking to certain people, because they have ways of speaking back to you that kind of force you into that position,
Mm-hmm.
right? So being blunt is not necessarily a bad thing. It just, there's a place and a time for that. Of course, if you're um engaging in a conversation with someone that is being kind, being good, they're not, although you might disagree with them, as long as they're being good to you and as long as they're genuinely listening, as long as they're being real, then there's no reason for you to be blunt and direct with them. You can easily just, bring forward your arguments, bring forward your points, and it'll be a very peaceful conversation. It might end with a disagreement, but it doesn't have to be an argument, right?
Okay.
So, however, when it's someone that's coming up and attacking you in a certain way, whether it's through words or through actions, like at that point, then you kind of have to put your foot down and be like, no, I'm not accepting this. I'm going to be more direct and more forward.
Hmm. What do you guys
You
think
know
in
what
the
I mean?
chat? I want to hear your opinions. I think being blunt is, like you said, there's a time and place, but it's something that we should maybe try to avoid most of the time.
Yep.
Like let's try not to engage in instant. Unless there's this scenario I was put in a bunch of times where you'd say something a million times to someone and then they wouldn't listen.
Mm-hmm.
So then at some point you're just not gonna keep sugarcoating what you're saying. You're just gonna say how it is, and it doesn't come from a source of
Yep.
hate at all. It just comes from a source of, hey, you're not listening. Maybe it's time for you to hear it the hard way, and the hard way is
Yeah.
not necessarily the like a hateful way. It's
Yep.
sometimes just out of place of love. I can think of parenting, for example. Like growing up, dude, there's a lot of stuff that our parents had to be blunt with us and tell us just how it is, or else we wouldn't have learned,
Mm-hmm.
right? Not everything that happens needs to be sugar coated. Sometimes we need to just, strengthen the screws a little bit.
Yes.
So I think
Yes. No, I agree.
we answered that. Do you have
Also,
more you want? Okay, there we go.
yes, yes, yes. So also, like another thing that like I would heavily that I've really noticed, like in my life and in my friends' lives, is that like comparing it between like boys and girls. For boys to learn, they kind of have to burn their hands to learn that the stove is hot. You
Hmm.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you kind of have to be more direct with the guys, and you don't need to watch really the way you deliver what you're saying,
Right.
right? Because it doesn't like guys will usually they don't care about the way it's being delivered. They just more care about the information that's being said, right?
Right.
Whereas like this is in general, of course. I'm generalizing, right? But you know, so however, when it comes to dealing with younger people, I would say it's a lot more important to pay attention to the way that you're delivering things and to pay attention to your attitude with them, right? So like it, I don't know if I should compare this, but like when like the younger people, they're simpler, they're more innocent, right?
Right. And
So it's like
they're susceptible to listening too.
exactly, exactly. So but if they hear a harsh tone, if they hear like a harsh way of speaking and a harsh, like they're not gonna want to take in that information, no matter what it is, no matter
Hmm.
how helpful it might be. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
So manage your tone, know when to speak, know the audience, know who's receiving the talk, and then try to like learn through time how to control when to be blunt and when not to. Can
Exactly.
we reach that conclusion?
Yes.
I like that.
Yes, I agree.
So you mentioned how being real and being authentic, um, what the opposite of that is trying to do anything, dropping your morals, dropping your boundaries just to get the attention on you. Okay?
Yep.
That transitions to another thing that I think about a lot is what are things that maybe I'm glamorizing or something society glamorizes that actually isn't all that great. They put a lot of hype on it, but it's not that great,
Mm,
right?
mm.
And I can think of a few examples. One of the things is hustle culture, for example, right? 24/7
Right.
working, forget free time, forget this. Uh, you're
Yep.
you're a man. You should be 100% into work, and that's it, right? You're just slaving, 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 and hoping for a better tomorrow. I think that's overhyped,
Mm,
and I have good reasons for it. Reason number one, and honestly, it's more than enough for me to say it's overhyped, is that you forget to enjoy the now. And
Yeah.
sometimes the now might be the only thing you have. You never know when your life ends. Like, God forbid, you can end up in an accident the next day.
Yeah.
Anything can
Yeah.
happen. So if you're slaving 24/7, putting yourself into the dirt, what are you gaining extra compared to, for example, taking your time a little bit, managing your schedule, putting in some activities you like to enjoy, giving some time for your family, giving some time for your friends. What do you lose by doing that? You don't lose much. If anything, you get to become in a better mood, and then maybe that ends up leading you to be more productive. Do you agree? Disagree?
Um. Well, okay. Here's the thing. Here's my opinion on this, on the hustle culture, right? So I see it as a good thing to, put some pressure, to apply some pressure on yourself at a young age, to be able to, get it, right?
Yeah.
You want to be, you want to be a go-getter. Like, you want to achieve the things you want to achieve as quick as you can, and as properly as you can, right? Now, being successful takes time, right? And we all know that. And it takes effort, and it takes a lot of sacrifice. I don't see a problem with necessarily, um, spending a couple hours here or there, or a few minutes here or there, just leisure time, right? Like doing things you might enjoy, or doing things that you might, that might not be very useful for you, like long term.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see any problem with that necessarily. Obviously, there's got to be a balance,
Right.
but I strongly encourage to, keep at it. Like, just keep going with what you're doing. And the important thing is that you do it, like, the reason you're doing it.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, if you're doing what you're doing right now for, like, a very, worldly reason, then it's really not like, it's not really in your best interest to continue doing the things you're doing, right? Because the reasoning behind it is flawed. It's worldly. It's like very, what do you call it? It's very fleshly, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's feeds into your flesh.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're doing it, let's say, for example, for a reason that has to do with serving God, serving the people around you, serving your family, if that's the reason that you're doing things, then you should probably keep going. Like, you go at it, and do it with God. Like, pray and do
Mm-hmm.
it, and it'll be so much better and so much easier to go through it once you have
Oh, definitely.
God with
There's
you.
there's a lot of power
Yeah,
in prayer, and there's a lot of power in doing things to
yeah,
please God, honestly. Because when you please God, just be certain that your life is gonna get into place. So here's what I can say.
yeah,
We act like success is about grinding 24/7, right? But real success is about having the freedom to slow down, take a moment, enjoy what you worked for. Because if you don't enjoy what you worked for, did you even win? Did you win?
yeah.
What was the point of all that grind, right?
Mm-hmm.
Society
Mm-hmm.
sells us this idea that success means sacrificing sleep, skipping meals, working until you break. We have in the chat, Anton said something great. That's just a recipe for a fatal burnout.
Yeah, yeah.
So real success isn't just about getting more, it's about needing less and still feeling fulfilled.
Right, right.
I do have follow-up questions to
Yeah, I
that.
strongly agree with that. Yes, go ahead.
All right. What's the most overrated flex people show off? And what's the root of it? Let me give an example, all right? Having fancy cars, a full garage of them. Do you really need that to show off, or not to show off, to represent your success? Do you need that? Brother, you don't drive 50% of them. Maybe you ride it once and that's it. You put it back in the garage. Like, what's the benefit of that flex? Sure, you feel great a few days. Forget days. You feel good for a year. You're flexing over all your business partners. Hey, is your business going great? Yeah, it's going great, man. Look at this. Got my Maserati, got my Ferrari, got my this, got my that. What's the point, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, like it's cool to have. Like it's something like it looks sick, right? Like having all these cars, but again, it's still feeding into your fleshly desire of like the material world.
And that
Like you're
doesn't
still
end.
feeding into
And that
that
doesn't
world.
end because people who have the money, they
It
keep
doesn't. It
buying and
doesn't.
buying and buying and buying. There should be a point where you realize you're
Yeah.
not fulfilled, brother. You're eating a meal with a lot of oil. It's deep fried and it's never satisfying you, right? You're taking packages of chips. That's what's happening. You're not having your greens. All right. Be satisfied with what you
Yeah.
have. One, two, three luxury cars. I'm not blaming people, right? I'm not pointing fingers and saying they're horrible. I fall into other sins, brother, and I wish I can get out of it. And I'm working hard on it, right? This is one of those sins, right? It's inflating your ego. And that's never good
Yeah.
to have. It's never good to inflate your ego. It will only bring you down a slippery hill that you can never stop if you keep going in, right? You need divine help
Yep.
to take you out of it. By yourself, you're not gonna get
Oh
out of
yeah.
it.
Oh yeah. 100%. I think the biggest flex that you could probably have, especially in today's culture, is a family and a few kids. By few I mean like a bunch of kids. Like that's the biggest flex you can have.
Right. Family life, dude. It's something
Yeah.
I
Like
genuinely hope I can have one day. But it's a lot of work
yeah.
too, right? It's the family life doesn't start the moment you get married and then decide you're gonna have a
Of
family.
course. Of course.
I believe family life begins years before that. Dude, you need to be preparing yourself
Yeah.
from now, right?
For
What
sure.
makes you a great dad? If you are to become a dad right now, this second,
Hmm.
you'd be scared for a reason. There are things in your life that are not well put together. And
Right.
why are they not well put together? Let's say, for example, you're not working hard enough. You're not confident enough in certain areas. You need to be a full package. I'm not saying you got to be perfect, right? But at least have the basics or the core values that sets you to become a good father. Be attentive, be reliant, dependable, be not hard to anger. You should be meek, right? And you shouldn't be easy to
Yeah.
anger. You should have a lot of
Yeah.
patience, lots of patience. So yeah,
100%.
family life, dude, a beautiful thing. I've witnessed it. My parents did a great job. My mistakes never reflect on what they taught me. That's my own free will. That's me abusing my own free will. They've done a great job,
Of course.
and I just aspire to be like them, and honestly, even better, because
Yeah.
Christ set the
I think that's
example
what
of
they
what
want for you.
makes Christ set the example of what makes a human. What's peak perfection of a human, and if we get as close as we can to that and follow the teachings, I think that sets us up to be great parents.
100%. 100%. I mean, it's all there. Like he worked hard. He was a carpenter, right? He sacrificed his entire life for the world, which is like insane. And then you've got like he served everyone. He came to serve, not to be served, which is the way that we're meant to be, right? And that just like obviously this would be like an insane utopia if everyone decided to follow that path.
Yeah,
But there's a reason that some people do and some people don't, obviously.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, yeah. So that's the biggest thing I would say.
yeah, dude. I think we got it, man. May God give us the strength to
Yep.
be great parents someday.
Sick.
So okay, then another follow up question: what is something
Oh
that's
man.
actually valuable but doesn't get enough attention, other than family life? We already spoke about that. Give me something else
Something valuable that
that
doesn't get
doesn't
enough
get enough
attention.
attention.
Um, well, again, it's not going to be something that's materialistic. I think it's going to be a relationship with God. That's one of the most valuable things you can have
Hmm.
because having a strong relationship with God it can literally like it'll boost anything you have
Mm-hmm.
to be like exponentially better, right? So whether you're like, if you're feeling depressed, having a relationship with God, it will put you in a position to do things in your life that will make you not depressed,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
Like such as serving, doing things for others, doing things to better yourself, doing things to, improve your health, your mental health, and your spiritual and emotional health.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're not depressed anymore.
That's
Why?
right.
Because you have a good relationship with God. Praying, if you pray for 30 minutes, you go work out, you go do something for someone else, you work on something, like you do something where you can see a result, like cleaning your room, or after that, I am plagiarizing here. This is I heard this from a priest. I forget the name of the priest, unfortunately, but um these things that you do on a daily, I think it was Father Josiah Trenum who said this. um if you do these things, you're not going to be depressed after,
Yeah.
right? Like, that's it.
Dude, Anton just asked a question that's making me like it's making it hard for me to focus right now, dude. Should Christians be flexing? Love does not boast.
Mm,
Like, dude, a part of me, like as much as I try to like hold myself together and keep it all in one piece, when I do something good, I genuinely feel like that's a flex. Like I don't need to talk about it. I feel like that radiates, right? The
yeah,
unfortunate part
yeah,
is that is split two ways. The first split is it's slightly boosting my ego, unfortunately, but the other split is it's
yeah,
encouraging me to keep doing better, and that comes with its many good intentions. Right? It's not a thing that's supposed to be a double-edged sword, right? Doing something great, but it somehow ends up being that way over and over again with me. Whereas
yeah,
like a part of it is inflating me in a way, right? And uh, the other part of it is just pushing me forward and forward and forward. And I need to find the balance, and I think that's something I can only solve through a lot of prayer and consistent prayer. Consistency is definitely key.
for sure, for sure. Yeah. um no, Anton is absolutely right. Love does not boast, and we should not be flexing stuff, like, and
Yeah.
like we shouldn't be, posting stuff on Instagram or whatever where we're like flexing a bunch, and like that's not very. Now, I'm not anyone to really judge if you do that or not. Like, we
Mm.
obviously don't know what a person's going through or the reasoning behind all of that. But um yeah, it's not something that we should be doing as Christians, to, flaunt our money and flex. And essentially, like, it does hurt a person to do that. Cuz like,
Yeah.
how many times have you seen it where someone like a big name is out there flexing something, and then like next day you realize, like, next day you hear on the news, like, oh, they got robbed and shot and killed, right?
Mm. Well, in that department, I
So
live under
like,
a rock, brother, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of examples of that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Well, we covered that. But
yeah.
here's a completely different question, okay? This is gonna get your mind twisting. Is there ever a good reason to lie? You know how there's the concept of white
No,
lies? All right, tell me
no.
why not. Tell me why not. I'm not gonna say if I agree or disagree. I'm just gonna keep pressuring you on this and pushing you.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you why not, and then after this, I have I was looking at the chat. I saw Simon's chat saying theosis is the most valuable thing in this world. So we'll talk about that after too.
W. Simon.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So a white lie is literally just a door that you take that looks very attractive, and then you end up falling into bigger and bigger lies, because once you start lying, you go into a spiral, and then it gets so much harder to get out of that. Like, you start digging yourself in a hole, pretty much, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like, I've been through this, like Like I've had those thoughts where like, oh, it's just one lie, like, oh, it's just a white lie, and then next thing you know, you realize you're like in a predicament you don't want to be in. It's a whole situation. It's a whole problem. So from the jump, just be honest. Like there's no harm in being honest.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes it's for the protection of innocence. Lying. You know, you can't. Do you think it's a good idea? I don't want to go there, but I'm gonna have to go there, right? If a child asks
Mm.
how were they made? How did they come to existence?
Okay.
You're not
Okay.
gonna you're not
See
gonna
now.
you're not gonna go explain that, all right? Like you're gonna
Yeah.
be a good boy, okay? You're gonna sit down and try to make up something like, oh, God blessed me, you know, like he just magically put you in the stomach of your mom, and then through like divine blessings you came to existence. Or like you're gonna have to come up with an answer, and it has to be a good answer, right? To keep their
That's
fire of
but
curiosity
that's not a
down.
lie though.
Well,
But that's not a
in a
lie.
way, it is. So then, that defines it as a
No.
white lie, no?
No, it's not a lie. If you tell the child that like God bless the family and you came, how is
Mm.
that a lie? It's literally what happened.
But it's not the full truth. Not
Like,
not saying the full not saying the truth in a way is it's a dishonesty. Not okay. Well, then you can make the separation between it being a lie or not being completely transparent.
well, no, like you're being direct to the child in the sense that based on the child's understanding. Remember, it depends on how blunt you're gonna be, depending on the person you're talking to. This ties back to our conversation about being
Look at that,
real, right?
quick and
Right.
sharp.
So yeah. So you're gonna tell your child that like, God bless the family and you came. Thank God for you. And you're here now. And that's it. That you end it there. Once the child grows up, he'll understand how it happens, the whole process. But he doesn't need to know the details at 3 or 4 years old, of course.
Mm. I
Right?
wanna think of better examples where lies might come in handy. I'm not here promoting you guys to sin. All right, I wanna make this very clear. This is for sake of argument. Let's say mafia bosses or whatever, right? So not forget mafia bosses, people who are working under them who got in a way that they didn't intend to stay in it, right? But now they're stuck there, and they're trying to keep their family safe. They're forced to lie about everything they do to keep them safe, because if they say anything, then they put them in danger. That to me is exactly the definition of a white lie. How'd you get the money? Oh, I just worked overtime. What is overtime? What is that overtime? Brothers out there killing people, stealing, or whatever. Like he's forced to lie to keep someone protected.
See, you're going into extremes now.
I gotta go into extremes,
And
brother. Because
all right,
in
well,
that case, 100% that lies are bad does not work. That statement does not work no more. Because if there are extremes where
well,
lies are good, then 100% lies are bad does not work.
not necessarily though, because like again, it's gonna open up more lies down the line. Like it's gonna cause you to lie more and more to your family. So, like in the first place, why join a mob? Like, why would you join a gang in the first place? So that's initially like a
Yeah, but
problem there,
the homie's there now. Like, it's too late.
right? Well, let's say it happened. Okay, let's say it happened and he's in and he's stuck in there,
JT, you're cutting off,
right?
brother.
Well, I mean, like the best thing you could really. Oh, is it any better now?
Give it a second to load. Let me get to the chat in the meantime. Yo, Anton is active and a half, and Simon.
All right, go through.
When you fall, don't start blaming yourself too hard. And when you do good things, don't let him convince you that you are a super righteous man. Instead, give thanks to God. Yes, Anton, that is right. What if your girl asks if she looks good, and then you say yes, but you actually don't mean it? Should you just say no? You might get crucified. You might get crucified. Dude, I mean, I can't answer that. I can't answer that. I don't know what I would actually do. But I want to say I'm gonna be 100% honest and just say whatever I see, right? But maybe in the moment, I gotta hold off and pick a better time to speak, right? I can't straight up go and ruin her day. JT, you're completely frozen, brother. Would Jesus righteously deceive? No. Period. And if we're trying to be like Christ, then we should never deceive. Period. End of that discussion. Well, he's gone. Boys, it's just you and I now. Until he gets that fixed. What do you think so far? Let me give you a question, and I want to hear your answers. All right. Let me give you a question. What's the time you told the truth and regretted it? Like you completely wished you never told the truth. All right. I can think of a bunch of examples from my end, but I want to hear your stories. RJ is here. Kyo is here. Bro, you guys, you always come in clutch. Thank you so much for being here. Simon, pleasure having you in the chat, brother. Sarah's here. Anna is here. Lean is here. Legends, thank you for being here. Yo, say something, JayTee?
I think I'm back.
Yeah, I can hear you. Your camera is glitching, but that doesn't matter. As long as I can hear you, it's chill. Every day of my life. No, I'm joking. Oh, okay, good. I was about to tell you, hop on Discord. Let's discuss it. Yeah, so where
did we leave off?
We left off at the extremes, I believe. How the statement cannot be 100% true if those extremes exist. Yeah, that's where we left off.
Right.
Thank you, brother.
Yep. So, well, here's the thing with it. Like, sin leads you to more sin.
Sin leads you to more sin. Yeah, okay.
So, what sin? So,
switch. Listen. Switch off your camera. Switch off your camera. Switch off your camera.
Right. So.
Nah, we lost, bro.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Let me just. I'm gonna join from my phone, and I think it'll be better.
Okay, do that. You guys,
I know it's lower quality, but
let me replace Danny. Simon, you know what, bro? Just join. If you're down, just join. I'll send you the link right now. I'm serious. I'll send you the link. You know, it's up to you, but you can join. Not yet. Yeah, RJ, the stream is not lagging. We're just losing JT for a little bit. Give us a second.
All right.
Here we go. Here we go. I can hear you, bro. All good now.
Yeah?
Yeah. 1 second. I'm gonna try to get Simon in right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm such a boomer when it comes to Discord. How do you add people? There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you were saying?
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that sin leads you to more sin.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much the initial problem was the fact that this person joined the mob, right? So that was the first sin. So in order to fix that problem, first of all, you should have faith that God can actually intervene in your life and that he can truly, change things, like do things that are unexplainable. So if you were to be honest and tell your family that this is what you're doing, don't tell anyone, pretend you don't know, then God can properly intervene into your life and stop that from happening, stop them from dying.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Agree. Yeah.
So you need to have that kind of faith.
Well, that's a tough faith to have, but we're gonna have to try our best. Yo, listen, can you add Simon? Because I'm unable to do it.
Yeah, let me see.
Yeah. Well, I never said my thought on this whole thing. All right. Here's what I think. You guys, if let me put this in a good way. Most people, if the truth sets you free, but a lie keeps you, but a lie keeps the peace, then you gotta understand that freedom must come at a cost. You get what I'm trying to say? If truth sets you free, but a lie keeps the peace, then freedom comes at a cost. And you gotta decide if that price is worth paying. And I say it is definitely worth paying, because at the end of the day, the truth, as they all say, will set you free. And
Yep.
you can never go wrong with the truth, no matter how painful the result can be. So we all like to think we're honest people, but let's be real. Sometimes we tend to feel like we need to lie to protect others, maybe to protect ourselves. But every lie has a cost, and it might buy you peace in the moment. But if the truth ever comes out, was it really worth it? I think not.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think not. Simon, are you here, bro? Is he here? You joined on hello. There we go. There we go.
Hello, hello.
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 Is my microphone all right?
Everything's clear.
Chris.
All right, great.
That's Simon, brother.
What's going on, guys? What's up, stream? Happy to be here.
What do you think, Simon?
Sorry, what was the question?
I was just so focused on getting everything lies,
just set up.
White lies. What do you think of that?
Oh, you know what? I hate lying. Just being open here. I spent I think during high school, maybe this is a guy thing, but we just over exaggerate so much. We want to have stories with the boys and all this stuff. So we a lot of young guys just end up being liars. They just lie a lot. We got used to it a lot when we were young. So then, now I totally despise it because it just got me in so much trouble and stuff that I just hate lying. It makes me look really bad. I hate looking bad. I don't like that. And so I really try to avoid it anytime I can. The only situation I could think of when I'd actually lie is, again, if a female, let's say my family, asks me if she looks good, and maybe I don't really think so, but I don't want to get into it. I don't want to get into how some colors aren't matching or something. So I'm just yeah, you look good.
You kind of have to at that moment.
Yeah, that's I think as far as it go. I don't know if I'd go further.
There was an example online that I saw. I think it was either a video or a skit, whatever it was. A dad goes to a daughter's performance, right? She performed horribly, right? But she was stoked. She was excited. Going to dad. What do you think? What do you think? He's not gonna go ahead and be like, "Yo, you were trash, honey." He's not gonna say that. He'd be like, I really at least if you don't want to lie, try to say what you can say that is truth. Recognize the good in the situation. So in that case, in that story, it was, honey, I love the energy you put in, the effort you put in. Your smile was great. You remembered all the lines. You did this. You did that. Talk about the positives. Hold on to the negatives just for later. Find a better time, and then when all this hype is finally calmed down, some time passed, you already celebrated, she felt great and all that, then break it down to her, be like, hey, this could have been better, this could have been improved, but again, I loved your spirit, I loved your energy, I loved all of that, right? So that's a good way to deal with things.
Yeah, I think that draws a great distinction between I feel like there's objective truth, and then there's truth in your opinion, right? It's being truthful about your opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I find it easy to be objectively truthful.
Yeah.
But then when someone asks me for my opinion, because I just tend to have harsher opinions. So that's something I kind of struggle with, is being truthful in my opinions. like to other people, especially if I don't want to hurt them. That's why I feel like I've really cultivated a circle of friends that I guess you could say is more thick-skinned, because then I could just actually be myself and not have to worry when I say those things. But it's still something I struggle with, like with others, right? So I guess, how do you get over that?
Right. That's a good question. How do you get over it? I mean, we had a few answers, and JayTee emphasized on a lot of prayers and putting time and energy into improving, and that improvement has to come with a lot of divine help. But again, we say all those things, it's not gonna happen in a day. Like, you guys, it's a struggle and a half. I'm 24, turning 25. There are a lot of things that I thought I could have fixed a while back. It's not that I'm not attempting. I'm definitely attempting, and the attempts are getting better and better every single time. But it's not because I'm doing anything special. No. I'm reaching a point where I'm realizing, like, yo, I'm a mess up. All right. And then at the same time, I got the heart and I got the mind that accepts correction. And that correction is coming a lot from prayer, from reading the Bible. And you guys, I'm not here trying to convert any of you if you're on the other side, but you got to understand that there's a reason why a lot of religions, they're longing for a God. All right. They're longing for this higher purpose. They don't want to feel that they're alone. And that's because we can't just function on our own. We need that higher power.
Yeah.
So whatever you believe in, understand the core of it. You're longing for something to help you out. You're longing for something to assist you. You can't do this on your own.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. You know,
I don't know if
it's not me, it's not I, but it's God in me. It's Christ in me that acts. Right?
Yeah.
So we're nothing without God. We can't do anything without God.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Exactly.
I don't know if I'd put it as like when you say we need a higher power, you know, I feel like if you say that to someone who doesn't really believe in God, they then just look at you and they're like, oh, but that's why you believe in God. It's because, like, you need that. But it's not really because why do I need it? You know, there's like a question of why do I need it? And the reason I need it is because my heart was made for it, is because I was made for it. Like, when like we say we're made in the image of God, like the reason we crave and desire, the reason we crave love and we want to love, like, if you look at, I've really met any human that like doesn't want to love. You know, the only humans I met that are like, oh yeah, I don't want to love, is because they've been hurt and they're just not ready to put themselves out there right now. Right? But I've never met anyone who doesn't want to love. I've never met anyone who doesn't love creating. You know, people love to create. So actually, some of the most fulfilled people, like in psychology, we studied like there's this like scale of personal fulfillment, and then you start all the way at the bottom with like the basic biological needs, and then as you move up, you know, the human needs more and more things to be fulfilled. But I put creators and inventors really high up on that fulfillment scale. And all these things come because we are made in the image of God. The first thing God did was create. The reason he created was it was all out of love. And so this is where we get these desires from, like this want to love people, all these things. So I don't know if I put it like I need a higher power. It's like I was made to harness something that was higher than what earth can provide for me. I was made for things greater than materialism. I was made for love, right? I was made for love and to love, and like this is our purpose, basic. This is the whole reason we're actually on earth, is just to learn to love. Like God could easily just save everybody right now, but the whole reason we've been put through earth and we're going through these trials and all these things is God is teaching us how to love.
Yeah. And I'd like to add on that the perfect love, the highest form of love, is sacrifice. And when we're told to be Christ-like, Christ sacrificed himself because he loves the world. So we're meant to sacrifice ourselves and our time for those that we love. And for God, who we also love.
Agreed. Well said. Well put.
I feel like this podcast is going to have like with me and JayTee, there's going to be like an impossible level to stay on a secular topic and remain secular.
100%. No way.
Like that's not, that can't happen.
I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Listen, you know what? Let's try to shift it a little bit. All right. I have a fun question for you guys. Get creative with it. Okay. Would you rather know everyone's thoughts about you, or never know at all any of their thoughts? Like that's just a human in front of you. It doesn't matter what they think of you. You know nothing. You have no perception of what they think of you.
Man.
Let me tell you why I'm asking this. Because I say we all think we want the truth until we hear it.
Right.
Right? And most people don't want honesty. They want reassurance. So let's say you have to be on one side of the extremes. Would you rather know everyone's thoughts about you or not at all?
I don't think so, no. I think not at all.
And why is
Because I think we live in a fallen world. Look, here I am. I can't stay secular for 5 minutes, but like we live in a world where basically like our thoughts is a spiritual battleground. And so my own thoughts and my own brain is a spiritual battleground, let alone me then exposing myself to everyone else's thoughts and what they're battling, because guess what? How they judge me is going to reflect how well they're doing in their battle. Right? Someone who looks at other people like, you know what? We're all sinners at the end of the day, you know, and I sin really bad. But for the most part, I try my best not to judge people. I don't just look at them and judge. You know, I've been downtown where I've seen a homeless guy, what looked like a homeless guy walking around. Come to find out, you know, dude's a very successful business guy. He just doesn't like to dress up. So I think I've learned enough in life not to judge, but there's people who haven't gotten there yet. And who, when they look at someone, there's just some, like, they just start projecting. And I don't want to be exposed to that all the time. I feel like that would be terrible for my self-confidence. That, like, I don't even think I'd be able to operate anymore if I don't know if I could even have a conversation with you guys right now. Like, I'm sitting here and I'm just seeing what these guys think about me. It's either going to destroy me or it's going to make me, like, if you think good of me, it's going to make me so prideful and egotistical that I'm just going to have like a God complex. Mm-hmm. And I'm cooked either way. Like,
I mean, no, I agree for sure. What he said though, JayTee, sorry, 1 second. What he said though is attainable. It's attainable. Yeah. Like you can reach a point where you can filter out how you get affected by people's thoughts. It's definitely a challenge. I'm in the process of it. I'm not gonna speak too much before I, go the other route again. But I'm reaching a point where people don't care, whatever. I'll do it regardless.
That's a good point.
I'll do what I got to do, right? Because I'm gonna be real. Point. Some people might think this is a waste of time, right? And they're free to think that way. It's their opinion. That's all right. I don't think this is a waste of time. This is something that I want to do. Hey, and if I do change my mind later on, I want to move on to something else. So what? So be it, man. I think it's the right decision. Then I'm gonna take it. So what people think, although appreciated if it's constructive or if it has value, but if it doesn't have value, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It shouldn't move me at all. Right?
Yeah.
It's a challenge, but achievable. Go ahead, JayTee.
Yeah, so I was going to say that this all ties back to our first conversation that we were having earlier about being real. Knowing everyone's thoughts about you, it's going to affect how real you can be and how genuine and real and authentic you can be in front of someone, obviously. So I would definitely prefer not knowing what people think and just being who I'm meant to be and who I was born to be without any outside effects and any outside variables that change that person, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, wait, but the question was the part where if you don't know, you don't know a thing.
You don't know a thing, brother. It's like you just
like you can't even draw an inference.
No, you don't know what they're thinking. Like it's the absolute extreme. You don't even know if they're enjoying their time with you, right? Here's the negative that comes with that. You're just left questioning, right? Am I doing something right or something wrong? Like there's a point where your confidence is strong, okay, great, but there's also a point where you start questioning: is your confidence leading you to a place where you're actually being delusional, not confident?
Right.
So obviously we're not made in a way. Like we're not made in a way to be on any side of the extremes, but in this fantasy scenario, right? That's the trade-off.
Here's where I disagree with you, though. I don't think it's hard to go through that to question, because the reason why I don't think it's hard is because we have God, is because we have that backbone where we know if something is right or wrong. You know what I mean? So it's not going to be a difficulty for us to wonder and to sit there and wonder, because we have the standards, we have the morals, we know right from wrong. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not it won't affect me mentally to sit there and question myself and judge myself, because I'm not the person that I'm gonna go back to ask that.
Right.
Am I doing right or am I wrong?
That's a really good point. God. That's a really good point. Bro, I presented silver, you presented gold. I love that. Okay.
JayTee.
So let's try to wrap things up, all right? I'm gonna wrap it up with this statement. Most people don't actually want to be successful, they just want to look successful. All right. If Instagram shut down tomorrow, how many people do you think will still be grinding? Okay. A lot of folks aren't chasing success. They're just chasing the applause, the approval, right? Look at me, this and that. Take that away from them. Who are they doing it for? Were they doing it for themselves? Were they not? I wouldn't know, but I would say it's a safe bet to say a lot of them would just quit, right? There's no more applause. There's no more eyes on them. There's no need anymore.
Yeah, unfortunately, clout is the foundation for a lot of people. It's very unfortunate.
Simon, agree?
I think Danny, a couple podcasts ago, I think in the first one he mentioned something. He's like, people get the same amount of dopamine as when they tell you about the goals that they want to achieve versus when they actually achieve them. Like it's like comparable. Let's just say a comparable amount, because I don't know if it's actually the same, but I think this somehow ties into it, where it's like we're always chasing an image. Like when we're doing things in vain, when we are not on the path of God, we're basically just trying to make the God that we are, like lowercase g, you know, like let's just take me for example. I'm trying to make the Simon God look as powerful and as cool as possible, right? So I'm just going to chase things that add to that image. At the end of the day, none of it is actually like, none of it is actually not relevant. I can't find the word right now, but you know, it's not going to be long lasting. It doesn't mean anything. It's just meaningless. It's just an image.
Yeah. Right.
You know,
right. But I also want to say, people like don't like, as true and as real as that is, don't let that also be something to not make you go after success. Like, go after what you want to do, but be careful not to make that your God.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So yeah, I mean, a perfect example. Sorry, Simon. When it comes to training and working out, right?
Yeah.
You're not gonna train and work out to reach the shape of a circle, brother. You want to reach a shape of a bodybuilder, right? You want to reach the good aesthetic, right?
Big old square,
right? The Dorito shape. Okay, you're trying to reach that point. Now, what's your reason behind it? Is it just to like flex, show off your body, and everyone applaud you for that, or is it to inspire? For example, is it to help people get out of their unhealthy habits and then take the better route? Is it for you to take control over your desires? There's a lot of intentions that can go behind it, right? It could be vain, It could be something that is character building. So any sort of success you're trying to reach, please watch out from falling into the trap of doing it for vanity, just for plain vanity, right? Like you're always going to be rewarded, right? You're going to work hard, you're going to be rewarded with a lot of money, but don't go ahead, take that money and just go flexing it. No, do something good with it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with giving yourself a few gifts here and there, right? Like I spoke about supercars earlier, bro. I would be stoked to have a supercar, but I won't need like 10 of them. I don't need to flex it and all that, right? Like I'll grab mine. Sure, it would be on a poster too, but it's not because I want to like, it's just something I'm happy about, right? It's a short happiness. Just like when we draw something and we love the painting, you go ahead and post it like, oh, look what I did. Like you're just sharing something. But don't make it, oh, this is my character, right? I'm a guy who hustled. Like I made all that money. This represents my hustle. Like look at this. That's proof of it. No, brother. Your character is the proof of your hustle. Your character is the proof of your hustle. Period.
Yep.
True. You know, can't really put the idea together, but it's this big thing where you said there's like, anytime we have a vain outlook on things, I think ultimately the person fails because he's taking the wrong things from the situation. But at the end of the day, I think even if you have this intention, like, okay, I'm going to build myself up, right? Like, let's say we do, and we will, because we struggle with humility. We're humans, right? We are going to have the intention that whenever we're pursuing something, as righteous as it may be, like, for instance, if I serve at the church, regardless of what my intention is to serve, like, yes, my intention to serve is to serve, but there's going to be like a small intention in the background that's like, oh, look at me. Like, I'm becoming better, you know, like, like I'm becoming more holy right now. Like, this is more and I start boosting myself, basically. Like, I'm building up my ego from this thing. So I'm like, it's basically vainglory, right? It's where it's what the Pharisees were accused of doing and did it. So they, you know, like a Pharisee would wear something like, I forget how many garments he'd wear, but tens of garments. And with each garment he puts on, he says a prayer. Imagine that. You like when you go and dress up, every single garment has its own prayer. And yet Christ said they were doing that for the glory of man. Like, just imagine the extreme things that people would do just for glory amongst other men. It's mind baffling. These guys, no one's looking at you doing all these prayers while you're putting your clothes on, but they weren't doing it for God. They're just doing it to be like, yeah, I did all my prayers today when I put my clothes on. Like it. So, but you know what? I still believe, even in this bad intention, even through this, like, even though they were praying in order to get a glory amongst men, God still used whatever there is of that good intention to instill in them the spirit of prayer and to further their salvation, because God's like that. And so even if we do have these like things where we're like, oh, yes, I'm going to make my image look better. Like, I understand you said don't let it stop you, but I think you shouldn't entertain that idea. You should put it to the side. You're going to have this. Like, you're ultimately going to have this on the back burner. It's going to be there. But you should really focus on putting it to the side, taking the good intention. Like, God prescribed me work as medicine. He said, if I work, like, this is the medicine he prescribed Adam. This is the medicine he prescribed humanity. Christ, before he even started his ministry, he was a carpenter for his whole life. He worked. Christ worked first.
Yep.
You know, nothing great comes from anyone lazy. Like, what is that quote? Like, lazy hands are the devil's.
Idle hands do the devil's work.
Right. Right. Dude, I don't think you can ever find anyone fulfilled that is lazy. You can, for sure, the evidence in that is just look at when people retire. When people retire, they start rapidly aging. It's like work is the medicine, which Absolutely. It's like we've known this from Genesis. We've known this. Work is the medicine. God didn't prescribe it as a punishment. He prescribed it as what will heal us.
Yes.
And it's this outlook of work that will truly make a person successful, because then he is working as God has told him to work. And even if he has those things about, like, oh, it's going to build me up, I'm going to be this, superhuman accountant, lawyer, or whatever, just trying to hone in on the good intention, God will help you with it.
Yep. I think I just looked it up. I can't remember the Bible verse. I looked it up. Colossians 3:17. All right. And whatever you do, whether in word or deed, do it all in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God the Father through him. That sums it up. And throughout the Bible, we hear a lot about laziness. Laziness is not endorsed. I'm not gonna sit and judge who is and who isn't a Christian, but part of being a Christian is to be a hard worker.
100%.
For sure.
So let me wrap it up with a statement. I think that was a good discussion. We can chill and talk after a little bit, but to wrap up the discussion, unless you guys, do you have something you want to say before anything?
No, I think.
All right, we're good.
Good to go.
It's great, yeah.
I just want to say that it's easy to look successful online. It's easy. A rented car, a staged photo, a fake flex. It's all part of an illusion. All right, you're just playing tricks on people. But real success isn't what people see. It's what you do when no one is watching. Because that's where your real intention really shines.
Right.
You're not doing it for show. The curtains aren't open. No, you're doing it behind closed curtains.
Yep.
And that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Sick.
9 of you are here.
Really good talk.
Guys, this has been a great conversation and a discussion, and I'm so glad you were here to witness it. And the only way is up from now on. Hopefully, the discussions should only get better and better. The North team was here. You guys thank you for being here. And they commented about the hat. I'm actually wearing their hat right now. Quick flip around. The North hat is sick, guys. I need more of those, please. The white version. And for those of you who don't know, I'm part of North too. So, eyes on North. Please go check them out on Instagram. And Anton, you've been great, brother. You brought in a lot of value. RJ was here. Lina and Sarah were here. Anna was here. You guys been great. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Tomorrow, how down are you guys to join me for a gaming session? I got Anas he's gonna be on. It's gonna be a horror game. So it's up to 4 players.
Phasmophobia?
No, I mean maybe, but I'm thinking what is it called? Panicore. Because I remember playing that game, brother. The second level, we spent 2 hours on it. I was sweating. Simon, you can't, I've never reached this point in gaming ever. I couldn't solve anything. I reached the point I looked like a boomer, an idiot. I couldn't solve anything. So I want to complete this tomorrow, guys. That level has brought me trauma. So
It'll be fun.
All right. We'll talk about it more. Resident Evil stream, dude. I'm so excited for Resident Evil. You guys, I got all the 4 games, 2, 3, 4, and the previous Saga 2. So maybe I'll hop on that too. But I don't want to also do a lot of gaming streams too, because I don't want to reach a point where I'm slowly drifting into laziness. So we gotta stay tuned in. We gotta stay focused. But definitely let's have our fun every now and then. Because what is life if it's just work and slavery? It's self-inflicted slavery. Just let's take a chill every now and then.
The Lord ordered the Israelites to feast and enjoy. He commanded them, actually. It is a commandment to feast on and celebrate the feast days. And the one who does not feast is to be kicked out of his community.
There we go. There we go.
That's actually all in the Bible. You guys can go Type in what I said. Be like, hey, ChatGPT. Where in the Bible is what this guy said? And it's just gonna pull up verse after verse. It's all in there.
And don't go ahead abusing that verse too, right? It's not gonna go justify all of the laziness.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Don't
have
just
fun. Don't be lazy. That's the difference.
Yeah, guys. Heaven is the eternal feast. All right, not gaming on stream with Khalil.
And Anton is saying, thanks a lot, guys. Having a real talk like this is a breath of fresh air. Brother, thank you for being here. Yeah, your comments are the breath of fresh air. Like, it's needed. So thank you for being here, brother. Thank you all for being here. This was
I
great.
believe it was Anton that told me to check out Father Josiah's
I
video
saw that
about
earlier.
him talking about the 9th commandment. So thanks for the recommendation, Anton. I'm gonna look it up.
Check it out.
All right,
100%.
that's a wrap, guys. Great.
Yes, sir.
So tomorrow's stream, feel free to join. You're welcome. I mean, it's not gonna be a serious thing, as I said. It's gonna be gaming. So hopefully, you guys, if you're interested, you know, you can join and have a laugh. Because who knows how my reaction is gonna be. You know, I get kind of scared thinking about what my reaction could be, because I want to keep it as filtered as possible. But if I get scared, I don't know what's gonna happen. We'll see. We'll see. All right, guys. Have a good night, all right? And stay safe. Try not to go outside. And it's funny that I'm saying this because I came from 75-kilometer distance of just pure snow and roadblocks. But don't be like me. Do better.
All right.
Thank you for being here. Good night.